the dissolution of the elements. As you die, the dissolution of the elements, earth, water, fire, air, and consciousness, occurs in the form of the cessation of the winds in specific parts of your body. Those winds and those parts of your body correspond to the specific elements. The first stage of this dissolution occurs when the channels of the chakra at the navel start to break apart. As this happens, the earth element of your physical body starts to dissolve into the water element. As this is happening because the element of earth is dissolving, your mind becomes extremely unclear, dull, and torpid. At this first stage of dissolution, you see something that looks very much like a shimmering mirage. The second stage of dissolution occurs when the channels and the winds at your heart cease to function, which is to say, the channels fall apart and the winds moving in those channels cease to move. As a result, the element of water dissolves into the element of fire. What was previously seen as a shimmering mirage becomes more vivid and starts to look more like thick smoke. The third stage of dissolution is connected with the dissolution of the channels and winds at the throat. At this stage, the element fire dissolves into the element of wind. As a result, you start to feel quite cold. Physically, the warmth of your body starts to diminish. At this point, what was previously seen as smoke starts to come more into focus in your perception and takes the appearance of something like fireflies.
The fourth stage of dissolution is connected with the secret chakra, the chakra in the lower abdomen at the level of the genitals. At this point, when the channels and winds in that part of your body cease to function, the wind element dissolves into the element of consciousness itself. At this point, because the four elements have dissolved into consciousness, your mind becomes extremely confused or bewildered and unseated. Therefore, a variety of hallucinations can occur at this point. What was previously seen as fireflies becomes clearer and takes the appearance of something like a lamp flame. The fifth stage of this process is that the fundamental constituents which have produced your body, which are the white element, found in the top of your head, and the red element or constituent, found below the navel, move from their seats, where they have resided during your life. First, the white element moves or flows downward from the top of your head toward your heart. As it moves downward, you experience a pervasive, brilliant whiteness, as though everything had become entirely composed of white light. This appearance increases as this white drop approaches your heart. At this time, through the movement of this white drop or white constituent, of the various types of thoughts which you have been having throughout your life, all of the conceptuality and thought connected with aversion, anger, and aggression cease. Traditionally, all the different types of thoughts are enumerated as 80. Of these, 33 are connected with aggression. These 33 types of aggressive thoughts stop at this point. The second stage of this subtle and final dissolution is that the red drop or red constituent, previously found below the navel, flows or moves upwards, also approaching your heart. As it moves upward, whereas in the previous stage everything was perceived as a brilliant whiteness, everything is now perceived as a brilliant redness, as though everything were a brilliant red light. As this stage of dissolution occurs, all of the thoughts and conceptuality connected with attachment or desire cease. In the traditional enumeration of the 80 different types of thoughts, there are 40 connected with desire, which cease at this time. The third stage occurs when the two drops, the white drop which descends from the head and the red drop which rises from the abdomen meet at the heart. As they meet, they enclose or sandwich your consciousness between them, as a result of which you experience a pervasive blackness, an absolute obscurity. At that moment, the final 7 of the 80 different types of thoughts, the 7 thoughts which are connected with bewilderment, cease. This process occurs normally as an unrecognized event for most people. However, because at this point in the death process all the different types of thoughts connected with the 3 fundamental kleshas have ceased, if there is some stability of mind and some recognition of this process in the dying person, then this moment becomes a great opportunity. And the death process can become the basis of liberation. It is for this reason that Padampa Sanghi said that death is not death for the yogi or yogini, it is Buddhahood. What is meant here is that, if you possess instructions and training, then what naturally occurs at the time of death because of the cessation of conceptuality, can be an opportunity to attain Buddhahood.